After nearly 26 years of loyal service, Mr. Benjamin Ben Walker was set to retire this month. He had worked as a janitor at a large private company quietly, humbly, and diligently. On one hand, Ben was relieved to finally be free from his grumpy, strict boss, but on the other hand, he was deeply anxious. How will I survive after retirement? How will I manage bills, medical costs, and my daughter's wedding in today's economy? Ben had only one daughter, and her education and future marriage had always been his top concern. To make matters worse, his wife had been ill for years, and her treatment cost a fortune. Although the office had about 60 employees, Ben was often treated poorly by a few co-workers and even some seniors. Yet, every first of the month, when he received his paycheck, that one moment gave him the strength to forget his struggles, if only for a little while. Now in his 60s, Ben's health had started to decline. His hands trembled, his memory faded, and sometimes he made mistakes, forgetting to clean a room, putting sugar in the wrong coffee, or handing someone a dirty glass of water. For these errors, he was often scolded, but he never complained. Finally, the last day of his job arrived. Ben came to work early, as always, and started with his usual routine. Everything felt normal, except the silence in the office felt a little heavier than usual. As the evening approached and it was time to leave for the last time, Ben thought to himself, "Let me just say goodbye to the boss one last time." But he was told the boss was in a long meeting and that it might take a while. Ben waited over 2 hours, growing more and more frustrated. This man couldn't even spare a minute to say goodbye after all these years. He thought angrily, grabbing his coat to leave. Just then, someone called out, "Mr. Walker. The boss wants to see you now." Ben walked into the office, but something felt different. The room was decorated, the lights dimmed. Everyone was gathered. The moment he entered, the entire staff stood up and clapped, a thunderous standing ovation. The boss pointed to a cake on the table and said, "Ben, it's time to cut the cake, this is your moment." After the celebration, the boss stepped forward and said something that made Ben's eyes well up with tears. "Ben, we've all talked and agreed, you're not retiring today. We still need a man like you, honest, reliable, loyal, everyone makes small mistakes. But what matters is that you always showed up with dedication and heart. So, from now on, your salary will be supported by all of us here. Every employee has agreed to contribute a small amount so you can continue working part-time, without worry. It may go against company policy, but kindness is above rules. And yes, you'll still get scolded when needed." He smiled. Then the boss handed him an envelope. Inside it was $5,000 in cash. "This," he said, "is something we all pitched in for, to help with your daughter's wedding." Everyone clapped again, and the room filled with love and appreciation. Ben burst into tears and bent down to touch the boss's feet out of respect, but the boss lifted him up and hugged him. As Ben walked home that night, eyes moist with emotion, he thought to himself, "I used to think they were cold and heartless people, but today I saw who they really are. Kind, generous, human." Moral of the story: sometimes our negative assumptions cloud our view of others. People may not always express their goodness loudly, but when the moment comes, their true character shines through. Never underestimate quiet hearts, and never let assumptions steal your faith in people.